Hey Stinks. Thank you so much for joining us first of all. But before you sit with us at the wet bench, we just wanted to say that this show is intended for an adult audience. Although it's a light-hearted and relaxed show, it contains very strong language, strong sex references, and will occasionally cover some very sensitive topics. Please always check the episode descriptions for detailed content warnings and time codes for those sections if you wish to skip them, so you can enjoy your time with us in a way that's best for you. Enjoy! God damn! Hello, ghouls, gals, and non-binary pals. No, I had a better one. Hold on.
All right, okay.
Hello, ghouls, monsters, and non-binary monsters. I'm Owen.
And I'm Bret.
And welcome to the non-Halloween yet spooky haunted Monster High edition of Wet Bench.
To keep with like the pun, the many puns that will probably end up being in this episode.
Punster High.
Should we maybe call it Wet Boonch?
Yeah.
Wet Boonch.
But you've got to put a little dash between the boot and the nch.
Yes.
Otherwise it doesn't work.
Or what's an... I think that's the only one I can think of.
There'll be more. We'll think of more. Their time will come.
What's one that you could do for wet?
Ectoplasm.
That's not a pun.
Okay, whatever. We'll think of something later.
Ectoplasm boonch. My non-binary friend, ectoplasm boonch.
Non-binary monster. Ectoplasm boonch.
And hang on. What's one for Owen? Owen.
Owen.
Owen. No, there's got to be one but better than that.
Instead of Riley.
No, instead of Owen, just Ooh-wah! Instead of Owen.
And instead of, like, on the scariest bit, is instead of Riley, it's Riley, spelled Leigh.
Oh, that is terrifying.
Nothing scarier than, like, a
That's
horse
terrifying.
white lady name.
Horse white lady name.
Horse white lady name. Oh, God, Laguna's falling over down there.
What's falling over?
Laguna, she's resting. She's passed out. She's conked. But anyways, before we get so far off topic that these may as well just not be here.
Let's address the elephant.
So, today's a very special episode, for me in particular, because we're finally doing the Monster High episode.
We're finally doing the Monster High episode, which is arguably probably like the reason we started the podcast.
Yeah.
I think this is how the starting a podcast conversation came about, because you needed a platform to
talk about my dolls.
To talk about your dolls.
Yeah.
You have to just carry on going.
No, but it was Claudine. We have one woman of colour. Let's not do her a disservice.
Okay, well, while he's doing that, let me talk to you guys about my good friends at Squarespace.
Don't stop that bullshit. Oh, God. Bret, I need your help. No. I need you to straighten her out.
She's a lesbian.
Okay. Do you know what? Whatever. They're going to stay like that, and we're just going to live with it.
Lesbian. Boo-earns. I was saying boo-earns.
Boo-earns. So, Monster High.
What is Monster High?
You're going to hold your horse, because I have got notes.
No, I know, but just really condensed for the purposes of starting this episode. What's Monster High? Really condensed.
Oh, before I really get into it.
Like a soundbite in a sentence, a log line. What is Monster High? Not to you, just what is it?
Monster High is a 2010 fashion gothic doll line consisting of different monsters who attend a high school together.
It's like descendants of monsters, a lot of them.
Yeah, they're all the children of famous monsters.
It's like the children of famous monsters.
But
except for Rebecca Steam, I don't know what the fuck she's doing.
Rebecca Steam slays. I'm Rebecca Steam.
This is a Rebecca Steam hate account.
It's no. Oh wait, is it? No, I thought it was Operetta that you hated. Or was
I hate them both. The thing I hate about Rebecca is that she's not it's just for that song. It doesn't mean anything. I
When
know
you
that
create a
I know that
monster.
it's a line of children's toys, but I need it to mean something. And operetta, get fucked. There's nothing interesting about you, operetta. Get you and your 3/4 lengths out of here. Carry on.
I liked that she had jeans on.
Jeans are fine, but cuffed at just below the knee, whore, get out. Mormon behavior.
Okay, we have two very, very different ideas then. Whore, Mormon.
It's like a Mormon whore.
A more. So, I'm gonna start with this. So, Monster High. We wanted to do a Monster High episode. I especially wanted to do a Monster High episode. He doesn't even fucking ask for it anymore. For the people that are listening, we don't even ask each other for a vape anymore. We just do the baby little. And like there'll be water next to me. There'll be food. There'll be like his vape, and it'll be like. And I'm like, okay, if there was one thing.
I would just like to point out that I'm asking for mine back. I'm not asking to borrow yours. I'm asking for mine back.
I'm going to carry on.
You carry on.
I will fight you.
You carry on.
So.
Act the fool. I'm kidding. I felt like a good opportunity to say it. I didn't want to start anything, but that felt like a good opportunity to say it. And you can't actually deny me that it wasn't, but I think you should carry on.
Monster High. This is your episode.
No, it's not my...
I'm not going to act a fool. You may as well take the floor since you know so much about it.
You weren't actually acting a fool. It was just a really good gap of silence.
Oh, God. So I've completely lost my fucking track now. So Monster High. And what we're going to do is kind of... There's obviously going to be people that know what Monster High is. And then there's going to be a lot of you that don't.
I'd say out of the current people that listen to us that we know about... They probably are all not in the know.
Yeah.
So this is, I think what you wanted it to be was like a textbook introduction of A, what it is and why you like it, and B, what it actually means to you and probably what it means to other people.
Yes.
I think that's like Cliff Notes textbook, what you wanted it to be.
Yeah.
And hopefully that's what it will be. But we'll see if that takes 3 hours to get out of us.
Yeah, this might be like a 4-parter.
We are engaged. This is the first episode that we've dressed up for.
It was always happening.
Most of the time, we are filming when we're tired. Yeah. After one or both of us have like done a long day at work. So usually it is like the clothes we would sleep in. Like, we just, like, turn everything off and then get into bed. He starts playing The Sims and I'm off for the count. And that's just, like, what happens. I'm not arguing. I'm not complaining.
I have a bit of a Rolodex at the moment. I've got The Sims, Kingdom Hearts, and Stardew Valley.
I know, but you've gone off Stardew Valley a little bit. I'd say The Sims is number 1 at the minute.
I'm just trying to get achievements. But, yeah, oh, God. Wait, I'm not going to get into The Sims.
That's
I feel
a different
like this
episode.
doesn't need to turn into a 10-parter today. I know that this is one of the things that is the charm about this show, but oh my God. We've been recording 10 minutes.
You just felt yourself going off topic. Yeah, I've gotten to the point where I feel myself drifting away from the topic. Like the topic is a light at the end of the tunnel, and instead of driving towards it, I'm reversing.
It just took me everything to not sing Drift Away by Spinell. And then get into Steven Universe. I'm just like grabbing it. I can just feel the thought going and I'm like, get the fuck back.
At least we're self-aware.
I'm not. But today I am.
We're self-aware. But we're trying. This is trying.
We're trying something new. It's called neurotypical.
Also, can I just point out that if you aren't recording 10 episodes of a podcast and then getting into an outfit and putting makeup on for your boyfriend's special episode of the show, then you are not invested in their interests.
And he's very interested in
and I think that everyone should take a leaf out of my book, to be honest. Because I like my boyfriend. I like my boyfriend.
When you don't like your partner's interests, that's so weird. I'm going to do a little tangent, a little one.
Oh, okay.
There was a song on TikTok a while ago that was like a girl singing, and she was like, "It's me or the PS5. If you can't really choose one, I'm just going to leave then," or some bullshit like that. And then people were duetting it, but then some people were stitching it and saying, let your partner have their thing.
You're a bit toxic. Toxic for that.
If they're completely choosing gaming over you and actively just not giving you time, there's a problem.
Yeah.
But then if you're going to be telling your partner, like, oh, you have this one niche interest, because let's be honest, straight people do not have that many interests, and then say, oh, you can't actually have that, that's just wrong.
It's gross. I think that we've actually spoken about this on the show before. We are promoters of balance.
Yes.
And I think that if you like a little game, then you should play a little game. And I think that if you, I don't know, what are her hobbies probably? I don't know. I'm not going to say anything because I could get very stereotypical very quickly, and that's mean. But like, she would probably react really badly to whoever her partner is saying the equivalent to her.
Yeah.
And I don't really get why. I mean, obviously, I don't know anything about the situation. If it's a case of like, I would really like to spend more time with you, and I would appreciate it if we had some allotted time together that wasn't to do with that or whatever, then sure. But I feel like that was probably just rage baiting.
I want to say that for me, oh God, my hand's over here, so I'm not talking with my hands anymore. This is great. You've got enough to look at. You don't need to see me talk with my hands. And for the people that are listening, you didn't get to see it anyways.
Also, there's a lot of the door in frame today.
There is. We should probably move the camera to the right a bit.
No, it's fine. We're here now.
Great chat. So with straight people, all I ever see from them is football games, clubbing, arguing that they don't like each other.
And bad kitchens.
Oh God, yeah. Bad kitchens,
terrible
bad home
kitchens.
design.
Terrible garden design.
Oh God, yeah.
It's not your slice of Greek paradise. It's a bunch of shit.
And then also
wildlife
Love
used to
Island.
live there.
Like, that's all straight people are to me. Drinking, sports, going clubbing, and Love Island.
And you've been stereotyping us for hundreds of years, so we're allowed to say that. And plus, I'm wearing a see-through top, so I can say whatever I want right now.
Yeah, he is. I'm wearing my fun one that I got at like a vintage market.
Yeah, about to say it's a vintage one, wasn't
I
it?
do love this shirt.
It's a lovely shirt.
And I've got, you probably can't see it unless Bret zooms in on one of her reels, but we've both got like a little bit of like black smoke in the
Yeah, we
eyes.
do.
I've put a little bit of red in my corners to match the shirt. Even though I don't think red's my colour, but like...
To be fair, because we've dressed up today, maybe we should actually like take a nice selfie to post.
Oh, that'd be lovely.
We should start posting other things.
Yeah, we probably should. Yeah, we probably should.
Do you know what we should also do? We should stop talking about other things.
Yes. Okay, so we're cutting back.
Start your geesh.
And I want like some of this, because I just want to preface this by saying I did quite a bit of research, but
she's read up.
There's probably going to be some things that might not be 100% accurate because there are a lot of different opinions, but later on there's a little surprise that we'll get into. So there will be fact checking later on. Maybe not today, but later on.
Well, to be fair, this is going to be a reoccurring thing. We'll do a follow-up at some point.
Yeah.
I mean, it's no big deal.
And I think I just wanted to put like a bit of like fact stuff on there because it's nice to talk about it from memory, but it's also nice to have a fact to say, like, I've given you a small blurb of what Monster High is, but I'm like, I want to tell you what Monster High is. And there we go with the start of my papers.
Come on, newsreader.
To say, what is Monster High? And it also has like the little logo at the top. Like, I went all out because I'm really passionate about this. I really like Monster High. It's my special interest, if you will. So
if you went on Mastermind, that would be your special interest. That's how Mastermind works. You like pick a topic and the show makes all of the questions about the topic. Everyone that goes on that show has got to be autistic.
I would,
because they're like, people love to go on Mastermind and be like, my special topic is like LGBT women that have won the shot put at the 1972 Olympics, and it's like crazy niche stuff. And I saw one once that was no joke, like it was like, my special interest is season 5 of the ITV show Heartbeat, which is about like policemen in the countryside. And no joke, the entire episode of the show was just questions about that one season of Heartbeat. And if I can find a clip, I'll put it in a reel.
That kind of slays.
And I think actually one of the questions, I think one of the questions was like, I can't remember what the question was, but the person asking the questions was, my special interest is season 5, not 7. And they said that to them. And I was like, wow, witnessing a legend be born. But this was like 20 years ago, so like that the episode might not exist anywhere, and I have no idea how I'll find it. But if I can, I will show you, and if I can't, here's nothing. You'll have to take my anecdote and believe me, because I don't think I've made it up.
I love special interest.
It's crazy.
But
love Mastermind.
For the people out there that are too old to have known what Monster High was, too young to not be a part of G1, and I think that's a good follow-up if there are 3 generations. Think My Little Pony. You know they've got like different like versions of them as the years went on. Those are different generations. Monster High has 3 generations. Generation 1, the original. Generation 2, nobody gives a fuck about. Generation 3, those are the ones that are out now. But this is predominantly going to be about Generation 1.
It's also kind of like comic books. Because comic books kind of come out in generations.
Do they?
Yeah. So there's like several different canons of like the X-Men. So like I think they do it by decades, but I don't know how comic books work these days. It's also kind of like Halloween, because like Halloween has like several different canons from the original movie onwards. There's like the original canon, which is like 12 movies long, which no one really cared about, and then there was like a reboot one in like the 2000s that ignored all of those and did a new thing, and then there was the new duology, because we don't talk about the middle one.
There isn't a middle one.
There isn't a middle one.
There's only 1 and 3, because the thing is, they made
I love to hate the middle one,
the second one, but then they just didn't release it. Like, the script's out, but like,
and
it's
for
only
some
1
reason,
and
the
3.
mum character isn't in the third one.
I wonder why.
I wonder why. No one knows. The third one's great, though. Everyone hates the third one. We really like it.
I honestly wanted to fuck the living shit. I mean, I know this one was probably meant to be a bit more of a PG-13 one, because we're talking about dolls, but I don't give a fuck. This is our podcast, not yours. That guy that becomes a villain, I'm so sorry.
I can't remember his name.
If he came over...
It's something really American, like Brody or something.
Need him.
He was really
And there's
hot.
a scene, there's a song by
really hot.
Johnny something called Come To Me.
It's a really good song.
And he's on a motorbike with the girl, and they're like driving down. I was like...
He's like just killed someone without her knowing.
Like, do you know when
and
your
the girl
entire
is
body...
Laurie Strode's daughter. So
No,
it's all a bit fucked up.
Granddaughter.
Oh, granddaughter. Yeah. I forgot about the mum.
Mum,
she's not in that movie.
The mum's constantly like, oh my God, no one cares about Michael Myers. And then she's like...
And then Michael Myers comes back and she's like, oh no.
She's like, oh, fuck.
But mind you, that gag at the end of the first one, out of the new ones, when she's like faking being scared.
Oh my God, Mom, I can't do it.
Both of us were gagged by that.
Yeah, and she's like, gotcha, bitch. Yeah, that's like, but fucking Monster High. We knew this was coming. I like have the papers in my hand and I'm like, Michael Myers. So
that was me. I'm sorry.
So Monster High. What is Monster High? Welcome to my TED Talk. I'm going to get a yawn out first because like the moment I start singing or the moment I'm about to say something big, my body's like, do you want to yawn? No, I don't. So, Monster High is an American multimedia gothic fashion doll line created by Garrett Sander. Not Garrett Sanders, Garrett Sander, which we have made the mistake of saying too many times, which was released in 2010 through
Garrett.
Mattel. All characters take inspiration from monsters spanning from movies to sci-fi horror, thriller fiction, folklore, myths, and pop culture. The franchise itself became incredibly popular and was the second best-selling doll in North America, bumping its way up to the top league competitors being Bratz and Barbie, which in turn earned Mattel a fuck ton of money. The franchise ended up being worth $1 billion in its third year with more than $500 million in sales annually.
Tiny sidebar. Bratz isn't Mattel, is it?
No, Bratz is MGA.
Bratz is MGA, which is also the pop ones. Oh, the ones that were up there?
Yeah, they were up there, weren't they?
I feel bad enough.
All of my Bratz and Rainbow High dolls are under the bed, hidden away.
Rainbow High, that's what I was talking
Rainbow
about.
High,
That's
yeah.
MGM, isn't it?
And they've
You
had
can kind of tell by the design.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I was going to say, with like
And how it's
Mattel,
worse.
they seem to be a bit slimmer. And then when it comes to MGA, they're like, what if we give them
very-
huge fucking heads?
They're really cartoonish. For Bratz, it works.
For
with like
Hasbro,
the big head and the big feet.
it's very stylized. and
Because it's
funny.
really stylized. But like with Rainbow High, it's just it's very baby doll.
I get that, but also their fashions absolutely work my cunt up.
Some of them are really nice. Some of them are really bad.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, they've done a second generation, which is a running theme. When you have your reboot, it just always goes bad. But I'll get into reboots in a bit because that one, reboots are... So,
reboots.
Carrying on. Onto the insides of the franchise itself, Monster High follows the teenage children of famous monsters who attend a high school, shockingly enough, called Monster High.
Is it a private school? Like, do they pay tuition?
No.
Is it a free school?
So it's a free school.
It's a public school.
They have, like, they go back to, like, their bedrooms and shit. But then when it comes to G3, then they actually live there and it's a boarding school.
It's a boarding school.
Whereas in G1, they actually live in their own monster world.
Okay, work.
It's like a different dimension. But that's kind of an interesting one that I would also like to bring up when we get to the movie section. So... There's a lot to Monster High. Like, it's fucking
This will be
insane.
2 episodes.
So, the school is renowned for allowing all species of monsters to enroll in it. The show and toys value diversity among its characters and their visual appearance, personalities, abilities, and cultural backgrounds, for better or for worse, which we'll get into later. Characters consist of ghouls, monsters, and non-binary monsters as of G3. Frankie. The main ghouls of G1, which are behind me. Bret, would you like to point at them when I say their names?
I would love to.
Either pictures or the dolls, I'll leave it to you. You've got Frankenstein,
Miss Middle Diva,
Draculaura,
Miss Side Diva,
Claudine Wolf.
I don't know if you can see her anymore, but she's there.
That's fair. Cleo Denial,
Over here.
Laguna
Queen
Blue,
kind of forget about her.
Gulia Yelps,
She's there.
and Deuce Corgan.
I think she's autistic. And Deuce is over there. Deuce can get it.
So with the names as well, you can kind of tell what puns you're working with. Because they're very, like, they're on the nose. They are so on the nose.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the charm.
The puns are very dumb, but they're supposed to be dumb.
It is also for children. But yeah,
it's mainly adults that I see talking about them, so I don't know,
because we
dude.
grew up with them. So the character stories were told through the TV series, web series, films, the official website, as well as through diaries included with the dolls. So there's
Which
like
all released at the same time.
All released at the same time. It was insane. Like,
quite the rollout.
When I was reading up on it, they were kind of saying that the way they released Monster High was predatory marketing, which was like trying to garner everyone's attention, get them in, releasing some fun stuff to know the characters, and then being like...
Which is just
"Here's a bunch of
marketing,
toys."
really.
I was going to say, there's no ethical consumption under capitalism.
Okay, first of all, work. Second of all, how else are you supposed to advertise toys? That I don't get. Like,
think
I don't think it was particularly predatory compared
but-
to how some people do it. It's not like an entire TV show like we've talked about before, or like Transformers, or like anything Hasbro does pretty much.
Yeah.
Like it's not to that extent. But also, I wasn't there when it happened, so.
I was about to get my drink. Guess what it is? It's a monster. So on brand. So on theme. So, what's a good flavor of monster? Like their cocks? Their cum? No, monster. Their drink. Still one of the best memes.
Like their cocks. Love you, Tumblr.
So like grim.
Love you, Tumblr.
So, just from that alone, do you have any questions? Because you had a few, but I was reading. So, do you have like any more that you're like? Here's something I need to ask right off the bat.
Okay, so first of all, look at the headmistress.
Yeah, she's on a row. Heath dead on the floor.
Diva.
Is great.
Okay, so these are like the core girlies that we've talked about. Now, obviously, there has since been many more girlies, but the only ones that you actually collect are the characters that were originally there. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes.
Because I remember like other dolls coming out, or even other ones that you have that aren't on display. I was like, why isn't that one like on a shelf or anything? And you'd be like, it's not part of the actual thing.
So my whole thing when it comes to my collection is I want it to look like the high school. I would love to. I've got the Billy bookcase from IKEA. I have to say it every time because everyone has to know it's a Billy bookcase.
Billy bookcase.
It took a lot to put together. It was very heavy and very expensive. And I just want to say a really quick core memory that I have, which was a while ago. So we all know about the me and my dad story. Whoa, I have daddy issues. Anyways, so I was like, I have like way too many dolls now. Like I need somewhere to put them. So I was like, I moved into a new room in my house and I was decorating it, painting the walls. So I was like, I'm old enough to buy shit now so I can decorate. And I got the bookcase and then we brought it upstairs. And then my dad, he's a joiner. Now more so like manager towards rich people, even though we live in a council house, which was always kind of fun. Yeah. But he basically took over and did the shelves for me. And he was like teaching me how to do it and like put stuff together. And this was only like a year or two ago, so not that long ago. And then by the end of it, because usually my parents would be like, ugh, why the fuck do you have dolls? But then he was like putting them on the shelves to see how they fit, and I like snagged a little photo and it was really sweet. And every time I see it I was like, he helped me put these up, he drilled it to the wall, and then he like personally held them and put them on the shelves so delicately to make sure they fit. And I was like, that is the nicest thing that's ever been done with one of my special interests that are so far outside of your bubble.
He was at least kind of like respectful
Yeah.
In the like, he wasn't just being like, does that fit? It was like
a delicate pickup, put it on and be like, oh, will they actually fit? And I was like, I'll mess with the shelves, but thank you so much. And it was just nice because when I first started getting them, I was really anxious about it. But yeah, we were saying about like the ones that were on my shelf. So sorry. So the ones that I want are the ones that were in the original webisodes before all the movies and new characters being introduced. I want them in their original outfits.
In their original poses as well.
Oh yeah, that is the most fun.
You do the original advertising poses. I've seen him sit there for hours doing it before. And first of all, it's very sweet. But why is that? Do you just want them to be consistent in what they're showing, or what's going on?
Yeah.
Or do you just like it?
Both. Like I like there's one thing that I really don't like about collections, and if your collection is like this, there's probably going to be a ton of different reasons, and that's for you. This is just my preference. But I really don't like it when people just have them stood behind each other. If they're on a little platform, you have a little excuse there, but when they're just actively stood behind each other like a crowd at a Taylor Swift concert, point? It's like you can't see them. Or when they're like sat on the shelves with their legs dangling over. Ugh, their Stanleys. His friend Damla, my friend Damla as well, shot as a voice note being like, you called me the fuck out when you said the Stanley mugs. And it was so funny.
Because she'd already sent us quite a few other messages being like, I'm mad about this episode because she's a huge Taylor Swift fan. And I was like, I knew you were going to be mad about it. It's fine. And then after like a couple of mad messages, she sent a video a few seconds later being like, you kind of got me actually, because she was watching it. She actually had her Stanley next to her. And I made some joke about like having to have their Stanley searched as they were going into the concert or something. I can't remember what I said, but I said something like that. And she apparently just sat there like,
well, shit.
And then she sent this video and it was really funny.
It was funny.
It's really
and every
funny.
single time. Cause
and I'm not sorry, Damla.
She messaged me privately a while ago. So we were talking about music and the Sabrina tickets. I tried getting Sabrina tickets for my friends. Big flop.
Apparently it was a big flop for everyone though.
It was. I was on Twitter.
Apparently it was just an absolute mess.
And she messaged me, and then every single time she mentioned Taylor Swift, she'd just go, trigger warning, I'm talking about Taylor. And I was like, I'm appreciating this consistent theme, because honestly, white lady jump scare.
She's the white lady. Not Damla. Damla isn't the white lady jump scare, not with those eyebrows. But Taylor is the white lady jump scare.
Also, I just want to say, when Damla comes on for a guest appearance, you're gonna see
she will probably come on
beautiful.
Oh no, she's gorgeous. But she will probably at some point become a reoccurring character. I know that if we came up with a topic and a date, she would be there. And
we wouldn't stay on it because 2 ADHD girl isn't an autistic like work. 3 neurodivergents trying to stay on topic and we're all friends. Not a fucking chance. We may as well just sit down and press record.
And on that off-topic note, we should probably have our first break. Great. Believe it or not.
Oh wait, hold up. I want to finish my little sentiment first though.
Oh, okay. You've got about 20 seconds.
We're cutting to break. I'll see you after the fucking break, and then I'll carry on.
We'll start after the break.
We'll start after the break. Right.
Bye.
Welcome back. So,
to the wet bench.
I was explaining to Bret the difference between signatures, waves, and then generations, because that's kind of what we were on about before the break, and then we just spent half an hour. Also, if you look behind us and we both move our heads, we've got a new little display, because obviously I have to show as many off as I can.
And also, if you're listening to this as a podcast, we'll post some reference images or something.
Yeah, that'd be good.
So that you know what we're talking about.
So,
because obviously you must be just dying to know.
Oh yeah, obviously. But to be fair, if they're listening to this like, ooh, Monster High, then like, you know, if you want to move over to YouTube to look at my doll collection, fuck yeah. So, with these ones, do you remember any of these guys' names?
Okay.
So we'll go.
I know her name.
Wait, do you want to also tell me what monster type they are? Because I feel like that's a fun one.
Okay, I can try to. So, there's she's the daughter of the Phantom of the Opera. That is Jekyll. No,
think more casual.
Hyde. That is Jackie.
Jackson and Holt.
Oh, Jackson and Holt. They are the same person.
Yes.
And the idea is Jekyll and Hyde.
Two different dolls, by the way. They were released separately, which is so cruel.
It should have been a little bit of a dual thing. Abby.
Yep.
From The Abominable Snowman.
Yep.
Spectre.
Yep.
Because you hate her pet. She's just a ghost, isn't she?
Yeah.
That's another Cleo.
Her older sister.
Oh.
Think of like...
Naya. I don't know.
Think of like...
Does it begin with an N?
Yes.
I don't know.
I'll give you a hint.
No.
Carry on.
Nononi.
Never a denial. And then you've got the three.
I don't like Miss Meowlady or whatever her name is.
Okay, so you've got...
I hate these cat ones. Yeah.
And then Meowlady and Persephone.
So they are also some of my least favourites. I just don't like the cat people.
I'm kind of shocked at that because...
I don't like the cat people. I don't like the colour scheme. I don't like that it's like this like grey on red on white. I just think they're really ugly.
Fair.
I just don't like the cat ones.
I always liked Toralei. I never really cared for the sisters. But
Toralei I'm on board with. That's Toralei, isn't it?
Yeah, Toralei.
Yeah, I'm into Ginge because she reminds me of Courtney Cox in Scream.
Fair.
Scream 2. This is Courtney Cox in Scream 2. But these two, like, what's the reference? Why are you here? I couldn't care less.
They're not even related. They just went to prison together.
That's fair. That's where you make the real family.
That's kind of like funny about Monster High. What a sentence.
Why are they in prison?
Because they were bad kids.
Aren't they from like the New York lot? Where they're like...
What, Boo York?
Yeah.
No, Toralei just had a big part in that because she stole Cat Noir's voice.
I get it.
Period. So, with the difference between signatures, waves,
some of the
and
Cat Noir dolls have been pretty. When I was talking about cat people, I don't like these two. There's that one.
Don't like their colour schemes.
There's that one Cat Noir one that's really pretty.
Are you on about G1 or G3?
I don't know.
Are you on about the bigger girl with the braids or the one without?
I don't know.
Okay.
I can't remember her hair. I just remember her being kind of glittery.
So they're both quite glittery.
Maybe I just like Cat Noir then. Maybe I just don't like these two.
That's fair.
I just think the color scheme is just a bit ugh. Just a bit ugh.
So I'm going to finish my sentence.
No shoes though.
I'm going to say my sentence and I'm going to finish it. And if you say anything, I'm going to fucking kill you. To be fair, it was one of the things I didn't like. So, you know what? Well deserved,
I knocked
justified.
one over. But...
See, this was a problem because I tried doing this before, setting them up crime. Over there. Just didn't work.
It didn't look good. Like you were fighting a losing battle.
But yeah, so a signature is the doll that was released and its outfit that it wears in every episode. So do you know, like, think of a cartoon character like Scooby-Doo. They all wear the exact same outfit every single season.
Like Velma in the orange turtleneck.
So you've got like the ones that we've got behind us and the ones that we just had behind us. They're all in their signature outfits, and I want the signature outfits from the signature class, because then when it comes to waves, you've got the original dolls like Frankie Stein, but then later on, when there's like different movies or different lines, like Gloom Beach or something like that, they've got different outfits on. I don't care for that.
And also, like, you've got to pick an area. You can't just do all of them.
Some people do, but they have money.
But it's crazy.
Or they've been long-time collectors.
Like, because if you'd have gotten all, I mean, this is enough money. You know,
I got half of them for free.
That's true, actually. You did get half of them for free.
Yeah, I did.
But even the ones that you have bought,
expensive.
It's like, enough money.
My collection altogether.
But also, you've got quite a few of the special ones.
Oh yeah,
you've got quite a few of the special ones.
Special ones are coming out. So yeah, you've got the waves, which are like different versions of the dolls and different outfits. But I want, or like when it comes to the movies, especially when you go to like, I don't know, Boo York, one that we were talking about earlier. Or
Boo.
No, 13 Wishes, because that's my favourite.
It's the only one I've seen.
And you've got Gigi Grant, the genie, and I have her doll. She is arguably one of my favourites. Castor Fierce and Gigi Grant, two of my favourite dolls, simply by design.
They sound British.
Gigi Grant.
Those names sound like queens on Drag Queen UK.
Drag Queen UK.
Drag Queen UK. Drag Race UK.
Drag Race.
Drag Race UK.
Drag Queen UK.
Drag Queen UK.
Oi, oi, oi. Drag Queen UK. Oi, oi, oi. When I say drag queen, you say UK. Drag Queen.
UK.
Okay. UK.
Sorry, I was doing UK.
And then Castor Fierce. God, that's such a good name.
Castor Fierce. Castor Fierce what?
It's just Castor Fierce. Her first name's Castor, second name Fierce.
No, I know, but if there's a third name there, it could have been an even better pun. Like, cast a fierce spell. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, it's kind of funny.
Like, cast a fierce something. Cast a fierce... I don't know.
Okay, so... then with
I was just making an observation.
With the movies like 13 Wishes, I love Gigi Grant, but she came from the movie. She wasn't in the high school originally. She wasn't part of the original cast like Iris Clops or Sarah Screams.
It's just the last name Clops.
Clop. You got Cloppers.
Hello, I'd like to sign into the hotel today. It should be under the name Miss Clop.
Miss Clop.
Just because it sounds like plop.
And she...
Plop.
And she... like, as beautiful as she is, she does get introduced into the school because everyone that they meet through the movies, for some reason, no matter where they are in the world, are like, I'm now coming to Monster High where I can be accepted. And I'm like, well, that's great, but you're not going on my shelf. You're not accepted in my house. You can rot under my bed. And it's great.
What does the genie one look like? I'm trying to place her in my brain. God.
So she actually has really cool hair, which was very different.
Does she have a Goldie Greenie vibe?
No, but she does have...
Gigi okay. Grant. No, you do have her.
I do have her. I really wanted her San Diego Collector.
You also have that giant one.
Calliope Jellington.
That name I'm on board. Calliope?
Calliope Jellington.
Calliope is a great name.
And she's a circus queen.
Calliope.
And she's like toxic goo.
And she's huge.
Huge. With her height she will amaze. We are Monster High. And they like had like the little thing like, oh my god, circus stars are so unique. Like, I loved the ad.
Oh, also, I'm gonna commit myself to it because I don't think it will take me that much work to do. I hope you enjoyed whatever version of the break song I put into this. I'm going to commit myself to it because I agreed a long time ago when we were talking about this episode that I would make one that's inspired by the Monster High theme. And I think I'll be able to crack it out. And if I do, I hope you enjoyed it. And if I didn't, and if it's the normal one, then I'm really sorry. I fell asleep.
I mean, to be fair, I'm going to be more sorry because I'm going to be in prison for murdering him.
I'll be at rest at last.
So I think something that we can move on to then is from my notes. And oh God, I'm so fucking cringe. What spark?
At what point? At what point?
You're wearing a sheer shirt.
We're doing a podcast. We're doing a podcast.
As two white
first
men.
of all, we're doing a podcast, and there's tiny plastic people behind us, and we quote unquote dressed up for the occasion.
We just dressed through, yeah. So, what sparked Monster High to life? I just want to let you know that there is one later that says, why was Monster High so fantastic? I think I was going to say, like, why was Monster High so voltageous? But I was like, damn.
Voltageous is way better.
I love voltageous so much.
Voltageous? That's kind of like, I might say that in the day-to-day.
My bolts are sparking. That was voltageous.
Okay, when you say it like that, I have an issue with it.
Okay,
but
so...
they're like, that one actually has the ability to be cool.
No, it kind of does.
Voltageous.
Voltageous.
That's a drag name. Like,
Yeah.
like Voltageous Dupree. Voltageous Paris Van Michaels.
So, this is a little bit about the creator, Garrett Sander. So, what sparked Monster High to life? And fun fact, we now have a little bit more insight. Oh, we're teasing. So, back to Garrett. He was a packaging designer for Mattel before he was offered a promotion. I spell offered very wrong then. Offered. Before he was offered a promotion to find the next big thing in 2007, as that's when Mattel started its conceptualization. He and his twin Darren took young girls shopping to see what they actually liked because Mattel were searching for the next big thing. And they basically, for data, took some girls out, gave them money, and then followed them around to see, like, what do young girls actually like nowadays?
I'd love to talk to one of those girls.
I honestly, no one's come out and said, like, I was one of the girls.
You know when, what's that YouTuber that we like with the mullet?
Curtis Connor?
Curtis Connor. He did a video recently finding that chair.
Yeah.
The chair that's not a chair but also is a chair. Because he was like trying to find the first gaming chair or something. I don't know.
That's not a chair.
He fell down a major hole. Anyway, it's a really good video. But he interviewed some of the people that were in the advertising for that chair because he was desperate to get his hands on one. And yeah, it's just like the idea of doing that, but with one of those girls.
Cool. Honestly, just doing more videos about Monster High would just make me so happy. Because, like, the thing is, it's always kind of been at the back of my mind ever since I was a kid to be like, I've always wanted to post something on the internet about Monster High and just, like, have multiple fans come forward and be like, oh yeah, I loved it too, let's share. So they took some young girls to the mall. And then gave them money, saw what they liked.
2007 peak mall.
Oh yeah.
Oh, malls used to be so good.
I'm about to say, because that's when, like, all
malls
the
are dead
gothic
now.
grungy stuff
but
started
like,
coming around.
2000. Imagine going to Claire's in 2007.
Oh,
I'd be broke.
So, they took inspiration on how the girls were drawn to gothic fashion and Hot Topic, which sparked the inspiration. As well as this, Garrett himself saw an increase in gothic and edgy things making their way into mainstream media. In Garrett's words, Mattel said they won't make a monster doll line as girls don't like monsters, which also kind of always is going to draw back to the just kind of misogyny of things and just like the stereotypes of girls.
It's just like a room full of like older white men being like, but girls like pink.
That's what happened in the Barbie movie, though. Like the executives.
Well, yeah, it basically is.
When she was like, "Where are the like
and it's
female
like,
CEOs?"
Well,
your creator was a woman. Empowerment, and I was like, God. Well, Pharrell, you play it a little too well.
He was good in that movie.
He was. I do love the Barbie movie.
He was good in that movie. It was a good movie.
But yeah, so
it's like, Mattel, this was you 20 years ago. It's also kind of you now, but
yeah, Barbie's gone so downhill.
Yeah, Barbie's shit now. And did you see the thing that I sent you about the holiday Barbie?
Oh, about having AI packaging.
Fucking AI packaging. You are Mattel. You are Mattel, and
Pay
you have
your
AI
artists.
AI packaging.
You've got a full creative team, and now you've gone downhill with your fashion, articulation, faces, hair, and you're going to start doing AI art.
They also used AI to generate the design of the dress as well for the holiday Barbie. I don't know if it's the holiday Barbie coming out this year or the one that came out last year. I can't remember.
It's this year.
I just saw a post about it.
Do you want to know what's funny though?
But fucking AI, and you can tell when you look at it.
What's nice is that when Monster High did a collab with Off-White, or like when they do a collab with anybody,
those outfits were really cool.
They were fucking beautiful.
They were really cool, and the packaging was gorgeous.
The one that I really want is kind of still on sale, and I'm still debating getting it, but it's like 120 quid. So I'm like, I can't.
But it's Off-White.
But also like, it's the one that's got the skull inside of her head. And she has big pleated black skirt.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Because the thing is, the one great thing about Monster High is with Garrett being a packaging designer from the start, he did all the original packaging for them. So he obviously had a big thing on it. So when you see the packaging from G1 before G2, because he left as G2 was kind of coming around, and like the packaging on them are just fucking beautiful. So that's pretty cool. But another thing that I put underneath as like a fun fact, let me get my notes, is the biggest and at the time only competitor against Mattel was MGA's Bratz, which had a chokehold on tweens who saw this line as more grown up and fashion forward. And then the fun fact at the bottom is, well, no, it was. Further inspiration was taken from Tim Burton and Lady Gaga, who later got a collector doll. And
do you know what is fun about just like that time in general? That was also when like gothier music was getting really popular as well. Evanescence is the big one. Even people like Avril Lavigne.
Oh yeah.
Like I think like even like bigger artists were leaning into that aesthetic a lot at the time. Even though it's, to be fair, it might have been in her look. I'm not really sure on how her look has evolved over the decades. But even like Kelly Clarkson's music at the time,
Breakaway,
it had like that edge to it that mainstream stuff hadn't really. I mean, the edge had always been there if you were looking for it, but it was like it was everywhere for quite a while, because that was when I grew up.
What I'd say it was like dark blue and grey filter with like a blurry thing over it, just looking cunty with black eyeliner and a tank top.
It's Amanda in the First Saw.
Yes.
2004, it's Amanda Young.
It's Amanda Young in the First Saw. Like, that is exactly what 2007
and
was to me.
Like, that's the only Monster High doll that if it was released, I'd fucking get it. If it was Amanda and she had like a pig purse,
dude,
whatever.
I'm not even joking. Because we will do so.
Well, we've seen like fan designs of it, and I'm like, that would be so cool.
Oh, I forgot what like the rest of the outfit was. But the thing is, with a lot of the collector dolls, a lot of them are wearing suits, because a lot of them are wearing suits. A lot of the killers either wear suits or wear masks, and it's kind of hard to work with because you've got two things to focus on, but you don't want to do too much of the same thing. So I'm interested to see. They did Pennywise right.
They did Pennywise right.
Wait until we get to the collector dolls, bitch.
No, I know.
Because we are going to go off the rails. But yeah, I
like seeing him talk about it.
What was it we were kind of talking about? We were talking about, the conceptualization and like the misogyny when it comes to dolls.
Oh, yeah.
I think Mattel...
Girls' toys in general.
Oh, yeah.
Still.
Because do you know how Barbie started?
Wasn't it like to model the perfect, what quote unquote woman was in like the 50s to young girls or something like that?
No, probably, but also no. So basically, I think Ruth went to Germany and they saw a sex doll, but it was like Barbie sized, but it was like a joke against women. So then she was like, ooh, there are way too many baby dolls, and the only kind of like human dolls that kids have are paper with stick on paper outfits. So she kind of brought it back to the US and was constantly like, can we turn this into a doll? Can we turn this into a doll? Can we turn this into a doll? And they was like, no. And then when they finally did it, she's called Barbara Millicent Roberts, named after her daughter, which is really fucking cute. Barbara Millicent Roberts. Obsessed.
Millicent is a nice name.
I like Millicent.
Millie
Barbara
for sure.
Millicent Roberts. Or just Barbie. Bob.
No. I mean, if someone's first name was Millicent.
Maleficent. So, yeah, so then obviously it went like very feminine. It was incredibly pink. It was it was very fashion forward. And then when you got to like round about 2010s, that's when Barbie really started stepping its pussy up.
I mean, wasn't the first Barbie the white and black?
Yes.
The swimsuit.
Yep. That's a very.
At least that one
Barbie.
wasn't pink.
Yeah, we're gonna say that was a lovely start.
I was about to say that was a nice first one to make. Like, not only was it a woman, it was a woman in something but still very of the time, but it was openly available, and it was a woman in a swimsuit.
Yeah.
Like by like the standards of at the time, that woman showing body. Ooh.
What we'd said in something that is going to be the next episode, which I'm going to bring up now because I feel like it's important, is a lot of higher ups don't seem to care or understand about what children want. And when it comes, because obviously there's a very, very direct line in between boys and girls' toys. And when it comes to girls' toys, they've really gone downhill now, which is really fucking sad because because we had like a really cunty era of like cunty fashionista Barbies, not the ones that we have now. Then you've got Monster High, you've got Bratz, and then everything went downhill because everything started getting babyfied.
Yeah,
it was like babyfied Bratz, babyfied Monster High, because they all.
Which I think that kind of comes from in I think if you looked at it, I haven't done the research, but I think if you looked at it, that would probably also reflect the rise of anime becoming more interested in the West as well.
Maybe.
I reckon there's probably some sort of correlation there, because a lot of anime designs have those exaggerated eyes, which you see in a lot of toy animals now.
See, I
think there's probably some trickle down.
I'd kind of disagree.
Oh, okay.
But this kind of gets into the controversies, because when you were saying that, it kind of crossed my mind of like, why did Monster High have a reboot? And then I remembered. No one wants to remember G2.
I forgot and then I remember.
I forgot then I remembered. So when it came to G2, the reason that Garrett left, funnily enough, is because they started losing the message of Monster High, which, as I've said before, is be yourself, be unique,
be a monster.
You're different, you are, and that's okay. Throwback. And
that was a you reference.
4 weeks ago.
No, that was in your episode. That was like over a month ago.
Oh, wow. God, we've been doing this for a while.
We're doing this for a while. That was the 3rd episode. This is the 9th.
Hell yeah.
That was 6 weeks ago.
Nice.
Well, 7 actually, because we took that break.
It wasn't a break, you were sick.
Took a career break.
So basically a lot of parents were starting to jump onto the bandwagon of, these dolls are too slutty. They are disgustingly prude. They are naked. Their faces are so suggestive. Heavy makeup. 8-year-olds don't need to see that. And then all of a sudden, all of these brands are kind of like, well, then we'll babyfy them. Which is why we had G2, where they had the big ass.
Which is a weird response, by the way.
What do you mean?
Like, also, I think you're using
prudish wrong.
I
thought prudish was like...
Prude is like if you're... like you're being a prude if you are like, oh no, don't say that to like a dirty joke. Like if you're being prudish, like you've got an issue with like sexuality. In general.
I'm going to let you carry on with what you're saying whilst I Google what prudish means.
That's what prudish means.
Oh yeah, it is a shock to...
Yes, yeah, it's like being really surprised at seeing a woman's ankle kind of vibe.
Yeah. So...
I just want to let you know before you used it again.
Thank you. So, see, we're learning as well.
We're learning.
So a lot of the times they were saying like skirts were too short, things were too tight, bodies weren't good enough. And one thing that I learned about Barbie is that the clothes that they wear, the clothes are like, the fabric's thick. You can get thin fabrics, but a lot of fabrics are thick. So they'd make the naked bodies a little more slim so that
So
when
that
the
the
clothes went
overall
over them,
image-
it bulked it out to look a little more normal. Obviously, it didn't always turn out that way, but there's always been a
obviously
problem with doll proportions.
there has always been a problem, and also that doesn't change the fact that I suppose when you're taking, I mean, obviously sewing tiny clothes has come a long way since when Barbie first started.
Oh, it's gotten worse.
But I know, but it doesn't change the fact that when you're taking those clothes off, young girls are still seeing the body itself.
Yeah.
You know, like the underlying issue is still there. It's kind of always
Because
been there.
kids have
Kinda
an
still there.
obsession with getting their dolls nude. No matter where I go, if I see a children with toys, always naked.
I think it's like a healthy interest,
Yeah.
curiosity.
Yeah.
I think it's just part of it. I think it's just part of having a toy.
Also, you're meant to undress them and redress them. They're fashion dolls for a reason.
It's the idea. Like they're little tiny people. You're supposed to throw them about and stuff. But I can't really relate to that because mostly when I was a child, I had rocks and
Cows.
I had the Ben 10 figures. Those are pretty much the only figures I have. I still have them. And I have
Have you Doctor Who ones?
I've got all the Doctor Who ones. I don't know. Well, I don't know if I've got all of them, but I've got many of them. Whenever I had a tenner to spend, it was on a Doctor Who doll. And the Ben 10 aliens. I've got quite a lot of the Ben 10 aliens. And I don't understand why there was ever any confusion over me might possibly being autistic, because I took all of my Ben 10s and I forged a shoebox and made little compartments for each of them, labeled all of them so that they could have their own bedrooms.
Oh my God, you just reminded me. Here's a fun fact of something that I used to do with my friends when I was a kid.
Okay.
And I still have the photos on my DS, so if we can find
your
them,
DS.
I would love to put them up here. So, my childhood friends, first off, hello Alana, you're kind of one of the main names here. But my friend across the road, names won't be mentioned because
It's the internet.
and her mum used to work for Avon. So when she'd get these big Avon boxes, we'd take the boxes, and if I ever had a day off school or something, I'd cut them up, glue them together, get fun paper, markers, or whatever boxes me and my friends could find lying around. And me personally, and then me with my friends, we'd take all the boxes and recycle them into doll bedrooms and living rooms. And I remember once I tried doing a double-decker bed. I've made a runway. We made oh God, the photos are so cute.
Oh,
It was so much fun. Oh God, that was such a nice little thing that I just remembered. That's why I love play sets. I just like seeing them actually living somewhere.
yeah, I get what you mean.
I like that these guys are stood up, but I want the original high school so fucking bad.
Yeah.
And I need it complete. Because why are people selling it for 100 for missing things? And then
It's like covered in Sharpie.
And then some people are like, oh,
It looks like the house from Monster House.
They're like, oh, this one's a £5. It's completely complete, but you have to come and pick it up from a very specific island across the coast that no one inhabits. And I'm like,
yeah, this is nearly complete, except something has happened to it. And you need to feed it once a day. That's the situation.
you can have it, but it is hard.
But also, that's just that's just Facebook Marketplace for you.
Yeah, I do love Facebook Marketplace though. I did get a lot of my dolls from there.
Nice.
And fun fact, I got my Laguna for 50 because by the time I started collecting, probably a month afterwards, Monster High just started blowing up on TikTok again. But that was around the time, because it was 2020 that Monster High started blowing up again. And the collectors were coming out. It was the twins and then Pennywise, and no Monster High stuff had come out since then. And obviously we were all old enough, because by the time it hit 2016, the people that were interested in Monster High originally had already grown up. So all of your market is just kind of gone there and then. And the kids that were younger than me were obviously seeing us grow out of them, and they want to copy the older ones. So then they stop. And then there were very little fans. Then G2 came around. No one cared for it. And then all of a sudden, when re-releases started coming out, the nostalgia kicks in.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, it's just blown up again. And I forgot where I was originally going with that. Great.
I'm afraid I can't help you.
I physically can't see what time's on the camera.
well, it will turn off again soon.
So we're going to take our second break. Definitely not going to change the display behind me afterwards.
Enjoy the song again if I've made it. And we'll see you in a sec.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Hello. We just had to re-record this entire section because we had the fans on, which is cool. But yeah,
at least we have some.
I'm my number one fan. That's all that matters. I'm trying so hard.
Oh my god. Both of us at exactly the same time though.
Like, I am not picking any of them back up. Like, especially if it's the boys, don't give a fuck about them. So, do you remember the names?
Okay. I'm about to say, we have... I've re-remembered them once. So let's see how I'm doing. Slow-mo, he is a zombie. Invisibly, he is invisible. I believe that he's like the son of the Invisible Man in terms of the Universal movie from like the 30s or whatever it is. Heath?
Yep.
Who's he meant to be? Is he just a hot boy?
He's just fire.
He's just a hot boy? He's got that alien face. Something Cupid.
CA.
What does that mean though?
Don't know.
Okay. Is it like Caroline?
Caroline and Cupid.
Caroline and Cupid. And she's daughter of Cupid.
No.
Oh.
It's
Forgive me.
It's a big story. It's
Forgive
a big
me.
story.
But, okay, who is she?
She's an orphan. Her entire backstory is
Orphan diva.
Very specific. Because it was like, she was like her own thing. Then she got like taken in by Cupid. Then she moved over to Ever After High. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, she's like daughter of the Cupid. And it's like, there's a lot of retconning. There's a lot of changing things.
Okay, so we don't know who she is.
But fun fact,
Mystery
a lot of
diva.
Mattel weren't actually in communication with each other. So that's why a lot of stuff is kind of screwed up. That's all right.
Pardon me.
I'm late.
Oh, that's Miss Rebecca. Who is just a steampunk girl. Is she kind of her own thing as well?
She was made up by Jebediah Steam, who was an inventor. So yeah, basically.
Is she a robot?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wholeheartedly.
All right. Miss Robot Girl. That's Rochelle Goyle.
Yeah.
Who I think is...
Everyone loves this Goyle.
I just think saying Goyle...
I love her.
It's fun. She's a gargoyle.
She's French.
She's Miss French. Miss French Diva. That's Venus McFly and Julian?
Chulian.
Venus
McFly Trap and Chulian.
Venus McFly Trap. Howleen. Twyla.
Yes.
Howleen again.
So...
You're welcome, everyone.
The reason
this isn't my interest. I'm just a really supportive partner.
So something that we'd said that I think is easier to just kind of get straight into is kind of fun facts about Howleen, because the last bit that we were talking about was when you realised. So a lot of the dolls that I have that aren't the first wave ones, and by that I mean like the main core ghouls, the other waves are from an old friend of mine. Now, after all of the rest of my collection, I have bought more than what I have been given. But before me and her stopped being friends, she was like, okay, I don't want these. Do you want to just give them to me? No, sorry, fuck. Do you want me to just give them to you? And I was like, yes, I'd love that.
You offered money.
I offered money quite a few times, which is very important.
Because obviously they're not for buttons. Like, they're not a tenner each.
Oh, God, no.
Like... It's a sizable amount of money.
But if you want one with missing legs and hair, 300, please.
£300.
300, because she's super rare. Like, shut the fuck up. She's got gold elastics. No one cares.
Calculating shortest route to tangly fastics.
I think it's like, yeah, something like that.
Tumbly-tastics.
Tumbly-tastics.
Come on, Bluey.
So she gave a lot of them to me, and by that they were off this shelf in particular. Howleen, Twyla.
Goyle.
The rest of them, besides these last three. So the rest of the girls, besides 13 Wishes, Howleen, and Twyla, they were hers, but then she gave them to me. But she never really played with them. She kept them in very pristine condition, which was very, very sweet. And her parents were like, are you going to play with them? And she's like, no, I'm just going to look at them. And I was like, okay. So yeah, she was like, do you want them? I don't need them anymore. They're just taking up space. And I was like, I would fucking love that. And then offered money quite a few times because she's had me pay for them before when we were younger. And then later on, she was like, oh my God, like, I could have made so much money off of them if I would have charged you. And I was like,
you didn't.
You didn't. I think I remember at one point being like, I'll still give you money for them. And she was like, no, it's fine. And it's like, well, if it's fine, then don't complain.
I was about to say, stop bringing it up.
Literally, like, I'm not going to feel bad about it when it was your choice. So then later on down the line, there was this time, and I had the messages to prove that a thing, but he just accused me of like trying to force myself onto him in a sense. And when I called him out on it, he was like, no, that's completely made up. And I was like, okay, but when I have like my closest friend,
let's not stop throwing stones.
Yeah, let's like she heard you, she relayed it back to me, she wouldn't fucking lie, and she heard you say it. So yes, it was said. Thank you so much. And he was like, no, that didn't happen. I didn't say that. And I was like, okay, well, fuck you, because you know if you start saying that, no one
else has any reason to make it up.
Exactly.
So,
and like if it comes back around,
let's go, diva.
And then people are like, aren't you guy that did that thing weird to that other guy? It's like,
aren't you guy?
Aren't you guy?
It's
like, that's just not on. You don't just make rumors about people, especially like that.
It's gross
because it comes back to them. But yeah, he messaged me because I'd blocked her, and he was like, oh yeah, she like really wants her Toralei doll back. And I was like,
cute.
Womp womp. We're not friends anymore. Like,
and also you live 4 hours away now.
Oh yeah. It was pretty funny because when we were still friends, I said, if you ever want them back, I will give them back. Because obviously, like, you've given them to me, but I know that you grew up with them. The moment we stopped being friends, for the reason why we stopped being friends, done, dusted. That receipt, crumpled, binned and burned. But yeah, one argument that me and her had. Oh, it's okay.
One of the dolls fell on him.
I've got you.
No, you're supposed to be screaming because he's on fire.
Oh.
Oh my God, Owen. Scared the shit out of me. Okay. Carry on with our silly little show, please.
So, Howleen, you've got the pink version, which is from 13 Wishes, and then you've got the original version, which came in a 2-pack with Claudine in a different outfit. And also, that was a really good scream.
It was.
So smiling, friends.
It was a Samara Weaving level scream.
So, in 13 Wishes, she got a new look because her entire thing was, I want to be popular. And Claudine's like, no, you gotta be yourself, ghoul. More Lois Griffin, if anything.
That was Lois Griffin.
Peter, don't prove I'm right. So we'd said to the friend, oh yeah, did you know that Howleen was forcibly feminized? And she was like, no, she wasn't. And I was like, okay, it's a well-known fact that Mattel felt as if she wasn't like enough for girls. And since she was the focus of the movie,
White girls.
Yeah.
White
she
girls.
couldn't have, you know, textured hair and a more tomboyish look because she was a younger girl who was finding herself. Like, fun fact about this necklace, that's Claudine's, but she stole it off her, but it's part of her doll. It's like, it's cute because it's like a sibling thing. Even though you would not catch Claudine dead in orange. I'm pretty sure she does wear it, but like, it's not really her colour. Moving on, sorry. Everyone's a fashion critic now. So we was like going back and forth being like, girl, it's a fact. And she's like, no, it's not. They just did it because they thought it was fun. And it's like, no, they did it because it was forcibly feminized, which then goes back to the misogyny that we were on about earlier, where older people constantly don't understand what girls like, which is what's fun about Monster High, because it was a leap of faith where they took girls out, saw what they wanted, and ran with it.
And worked out.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And
in a roundabout way.
yeah, basically. But I think kind of moving forward, one of the last main things that was on my list was, why was Monster High so voltageous? We're not saying fantastic. So why was Monster High so fuck off voltageous? So, Slay. Now, what made Monster High different was just...
Do you want me to read it?
No.
I'll read a bit.
Oh, okay, if you want to read it, yeah.
I won't read all of it, but I'll
read
all
all of it. That's the point.
No,
That's why I
I'm not
wrote
going to
it.
read all of it. I'll read some of it.
Then you're not reading it.
Okay, well, okay.
I'm a quick reader. I'm just bad at it. So, what made Monster High different was that the dolls, originally at least, were gothic and fashion forward, taking on the tagline "Freaky just got fabulous." Stop fucking laughing. Alongside this, the brand predominantly focused on anti-bullying and embracing differences. So, in turn, something kids were mainly outcasts for, especially at the time, became mainstream and highly regarded. Also having the tagline "Be yourself, be unique, be a monster." What made Monster High so big was it being a risky dip into untapped niche markets made to draw the attention of kids who had grown past Disney and their Barbie phase, which was arguably aimed for younger children but weren't ready to move on from dolls yet. The level of detail and effort put into each character was apparent. You can tell a lot of passion was put into the brand, as they all had their own face sculpt and paint alongside colour palette and patterns. To add even more depth, the packaging, also created by Garrett, had bios of the doll alongside a diary written by them, including their likes and dislikes, as well as more in-depth character lore which carried on with their respective doll's diary. Dolls for display, and in early cases, a pet too. And then some fun facts that I've put underneath are, fun fact, as the dolls were prototypes, they used an unreleased doll line's head alongside a collector Barbie's pivotal body. I was always about the articulation from Garrett, Mycene shoes and accessories, and finally, real jewellery that they'd found around, because to make something, like, you can't really imagine it, you've got to have something tangible that people can look at, touch, and get an idea from. And then the other fun fact, which is probably another well-known one, is obviously, you know, that a lot of the Monster High dolls have like completely different skin tones, which is kind of fun, because something that we learned recently, which will be a culture shock to a lot of people, is that they do not allow black dolls in certain countries. So when it came to Monster High, Claudine, again, she is black. I cannot believe that there's a discourse around it.
She's very clearly a black girl.
So she being a werewolf was allowed to come into those said countries, because it's like, oh, she's not black, she's just a werewolf. So having these coded things got to get more through the cracks, and in some cases kind of open doors to more diversity. Again, for better or for worse. And with Frankie...
Making the best of a pretty shitty scenario. Yeah. Really.
Which I don't even think they realised they were doing until later on.
Yeah, I think it's a shame that people in the countries where you can't purchase black dolls for whatever reason, well, racism, but in countries where you can't do that, it's a shame that they can't be marketed as a black doll.
Yeah.
And it's a shame that it needs to be done in a roundabout way. But I mean, things like that have almost always started in a roundabout way, and then at some point everyone's just kind of like, what the fuck are we doing? So,
fun fact, before I finished that fun fact that I was on about, but I worked at a toy shop. I'm not going to say which one. But there was a entire doll section, as there obviously will be. The entire wall covered head to toe in white dolls. And since I only worked there as a Christmas temp, and there was very few black dolls,
it was like one of your first jobs as well, wasn't it?
It was technically my second, because I worked at a food chain restaurant, and then
it was your first job in a shop.
Yeah, because we were still closed down because of COVID, but I still needed a job, even though I was like 16. What the fuck? So then I got a job there, and like when there were like darker skinned dolls, I'd like put them to the front, not as like a white knight, like, oh, saving all the black kids, but But it was like, let's have a little bit of diversity in here because it's not
at least in the display.
Yeah, just in the display. Because like,
come on, guys.
We had so many people of different ethnicities coming in because, shockingly enough,
Sheffield is a really multicultural area.
I was going to say Sheffield really is multicultural.
Yeah. Loads of different people.
When are we going to start getting Barbies in hijabs? I think
has not been one.
I think there's like one or two, but it's not like a mainstream thing.
I must admit, I've never seen one. Now that you point it out, I've never seen one.
And
mind you, I don't spend my days looking at Barbies. So.
What's kind of sad, what's kind of sad is there was a kind of like a test done with kids, and there was a young black girl. You better work. And they basically gave her a black baby doll and a white baby doll, and they were like, "Which one would you like to be as?" And she pointed at the white doll.
I know.
And that's kind of the problem with the toy market is there's so much whitewashing everywhere. Is that kids feel like that's the only option they have, and then they don't see themselves in their toys, which is why it's so important to have representation and to have all of these different genders, different colours, different disabilities, different abilities, all on a spectrum of the toy aisle. Because when
Barbie's doing a little bit better on the disability front.
Definitely.
Little bit too little. I was gonna say too little, too late, but it's kind of like too little, kind of on time.
Yeah.
Like it should have been done way earlier, but the little that they have done is nice. I mean, I think it's been a while now that they've had dolls in wheelchairs and stuff like that.
So
that's been a thing for a while, and of course, very famously, they've got the Down syndrome Barbie as well.
So with the wheelchair Barbie,
like one or two of them.
Oh yeah,
of the Down syndrome ones.
I think it's only one so far.
Is it one so far?
They're getting like hearing aids, walking sticks,
yeah, they're
prosthetics. Which
they're
is
doing
cool.
a bit more.
But that's with this is the thing. Those are just with the fashionistas, which are just like stiff 5 points of articulation. It's like give the girl something better. But in the 90s, they had a Barbie in a wheelchair, and she was like a photographer.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, guess what?
Oh.
Like this
okay.
This could have been a nice story.
Oh, okay.
And kids were saying that the Barbie dream houses weren't accessible enough. So did they make it accessible? They just got rid of the doll in the wheelchair altogether.
Oh, God.
They were like, we're not going to make adjustments. We'll just get rid of the problem. And it's like, I don't think it's a problem. I think you guys just fucking suck. But that's the really sad thing when it comes to toy markets and stuff like that, because all of these
they're always going to go for the version that is cheapest.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
like they would rather just not do the disabled doll rather than make other aspects of their marketing accessible.
Yeah. Or at least
one would think that there's a root issue there that Mattel probably need to solve.
You could easily, like, I feel like it would not cost them a single thing to say, go to this link online and then get a wheelchair, get an earring that when you put it in, it looks like a hearing aid, or be able to swap your doll for one that does have a prosthetic and we'll fix it up for you. Like, simple things like that cost nothing, because not many kids are going to be asking for it, but to have the accessory is so nice and accessible.
Like, if your doll has the articulation, any of them can be in a wheelchair, which is kind of the point. Like, it doesn't need to be a disabled doll.
Yeah.
It can just be, like, if your doll is able to sit down, in theory, while you're playing with it, you could play with it as a disabled doll, just to also have a wheelchair and the ramps and whatever else you need, or walking sticks.
It's nice that the dolls that come with a wheelchair, like the one that I have, came with a ramp as well.
Yes.
That was fucking cool. But yeah, things are getting a bit more accessible. But what my thing is it's always the racists and homophobes and transphobes and whatever the fuck else that ruin it for everybody else, because they're like, we just want to see like the white normal Barbies in nice fashion, but then anytime there's a little bit of diversity, they're like, well, yeah, but that's literally what I was going to get into, because a big controversy that came with Monster High was the fashion and the bodies, because they were like, these are demonic, these are disgusting. So instead of seeing the entire brand as, because these are monsters, it's pretty cool because you can see, you can like put yourself in their shoes, not have to specifically tailor it to your body and say, oh, this doll is Mexican, I relate to her culturally, or I relate to Claudine, I relate to like so-and-so and so-and-so, because you've got like such a umbrella doll, if you will.
Yeah.
Even though sometimes...
Well, to be fair, how we got into this was the whole skin tone thing.
Yeah.
And like there are... I guess it comes down to the difference between a doll physically and like physically being black, like Claudine, or being coded black, like the new Venus.
Oh my God, that is a really good thing to bring up.
Because like one of the good things about Monster High is that it can be representation where in that kind of like roundabout sort of way, which has its pros and its cons, but like at least it's there.
What I like about Generation 3,
because I love the Generation 3 Venus.
do you know what I'm going to do?
It's really good.
I'm going to ask that there's going to be a little sparkle here.
Oh, a little sparkle.
And then I'm going to very quickly change these to G3 and then we'll finish. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Yeah? Cool. So, sparkle sound effects over. If you want to move your head to the side a bit.
I'm so sorry.
These are my G3s.
Wow.
And the playset that Bret graciously got me for Christmas.
Oh yeah, I got the student lounge.
Yeah.
Student lounge playset.
This is how it's set
my
up on my
lovely
shelf.
boyfriend.
I don't know if you can see the LED lights. I hope it doesn't fuck the camera up. But also, it's important that I showed you that I made it functional.
So these are kind of the same OG girlies that we had on earlier. We've got Laguna, Miss Fish. We've got Frankie Stein.
Now non-binary.
Miss... How do you pronounce the MX?
Ms.
No, that's MS. What's MX? MX is like the title for non-binary people. I've never heard it pronounced. That sucks. I filled it out on a bunch of forms, but I haven't actually pronounced it. Anyway.
Just a good old Frank.
MX Frankie Stein, because she's made out of a bunch of people. Also, she's got a prosthetic leg. Fuck.
To be fair, though, in all fairness,
oh my God.
when you're going from G1 and G2...
I'm so sorry, non-binary peeps.
And I understand to like switch between the two constantly is kind of hard.
I know. I'm sorry, Mux Frank. Anyway, they've got a prosthetic, which links into what we were talking about just a minute ago. And then we've got Cleo Denial, who is I'm
so
gonna say
that
that's a lot of people's favorites. Do you know what kind of person has Cleo as their favorite? The same kind of person that marries Haley in Stardew.
Yeah,
it's the same people. It's lesbians with a penchant for punishment. And then we've got Deuce. This is, I would say, it's part of your collection, but this is technically my doll.
I bought him for you because you really liked him.
Because I really like Deuce. I've got a thing for green men. Anyway, this is Cleo. It started with Beast Boy, in case you're wondering. This is Cleo.
Who?
Beast Boy.
No. That's Cleo?
No, not Cleo. Claudine. Miss Claudine. And I would say majorly new and improved. I don't know if you can see her, sorry. Majorly new and improved Draculaura, who is obviously Dracula's Laura.
So, fun fact.
Ms. Laura.
I've got a few fun facts, actually. So, first of all, Frankie, again, now non-binary, I feel like it makes a lot of sense because their brain has a bunch of different parts in it, made of different people who all were at Monster High at one point or another, so they have quite an advantage.
They are literally made out of a bunch of people, a bunch of different people.
So to have like female, male, non-binary parts, they now don't identify with one gender or another, so they just identify as non-binary, which, to be honest, I wouldn't say... Actually, no, this is actually kind of interesting now that I'm thinking about it. When you come out as trans, like a trans woman, you were never a man, you were always a woman. So when you come out as non-binary, because they were born like, 15, 16 days ago in like their law, and they would have been born non-binary because you don't just say, hey, I'm non-binary now. It's like, I've never felt like I've identified with that.
Well,
so
I think for Frank it's pretty difficult because I think you could also argue that they were never born. Like they were made.
They
so like everything is a little bit different.
They
isn't
weren't
it?
born. They were sparked to life. It's so cool. I could ignite. Go Watsy. So then you've got which. Oh yeah, Laguna Blue, no longer blue, and
I like the pink.
Instead of being an Australian, she is now Latino. But people also had quite a bit of controversy with G3 because in her song, because they made songs for each doll, which kind of doesn't really match the vibe of the show, but that's the whole thing with all of
Clear song fucks though.
Oh god, yeah, it does.
Fucks.
I royally rule this world in case you have.
Yeah, go listen to that
the
one.
The bassline slays.
Like you can listen. You don't need to listen to the other ones. Frankie's one is like okay, but Cleo's. Chef's kiss.
I just want to say the camera's kind of dying, but if it does,
we're just going to carry on.
Maybe we'll just do a little slideshow. She's Latino now, but in her song, she said, I'm sweet and I'm spicy. And a very big controversial topic when it comes to Latino women is that people sexualize them and put them down to them being like really spicy people. So when that came out, people were like, was it a Latino person that wrote the song? Was it a Latino singer that sung the song? And like, was it genuinely a thing that was okayed, or is it just white people again coming out and saying like, here's a stereotype? Which maybe they weren't educated, but either way, if you're going to have something on that big of a platform, fucking educate yourself if you're going to be doing someone else's culture.
Or just let someone from that culture do it.
Yeah.
Like just cut out the middleman, dude.
So Cleo is now less of a diva.
And more of a lesbian.
Oh yeah. She is in
Big leather.
She's in a sapphic relationship with Frankie, which is really cool to now have openly gay characters in
Wonderful.
a Nickelodeon show. Then you've got Deuce, who has 2 mums and is no longer dating Cleo Denial. Then you've got Claudine, who is black and Latino. Her dad is black and her mum is Latino, but she is missing in a different realm.
But also, isn't she kind of like half human?
She is.
Which is because that's kind of when we start watching the show, that was kind of like.
That's the focal point.
That's the focal point, is that when she kind of like gets introduced to the world, her father is human. And her mother was a werewolf, but her mother is now dead.
Nope, missing.
No?
In
Missing.
a different dimension.
Oh, okay.
And when they nearly got her back...
That happened to my mum once.
Fuck off. Yeah, she's from Ireland.
Northern Ireland.
I always forget you have to say Southern and Northern.
Well, it's just Northern Ireland and Ireland.
Oh, okay. I'm going to move on.
Okay.
And then you've got Draculaura, who is no longer just Romanian like the original Draculaura.
She's Taiwanese, isn't she?
Yep, she's Romanian, Taiwanese, and a witch, which is banned at Monster High in this
big
universe.
no.
But then it comes down to one thing that the new Monster High is about is, again, celebrating cultural differences, which they made an entire episode about, which was really cool. Because Frankie really wanted to do something for someone which is very special to them. I think it was Manny, like the bull guy. And she wanted to make his like home cultural meals, and she did it rushed. She didn't do it right. And then he basically came to her and was like, look, I really appreciate that you wanted to do that, but the way you did it was wrong, and it's
kind of backhanded.
Yeah, it's backhanded, it's offensive, it's rushed. The next time you want to do something like that, come to me and I'll teach you about my culture.
Let me help, and let's all just be respectful about it.
And then, which I think is pretty fun about Frankie, because what they have a leeway on is not understanding things, because they're all teenagers, but in this era specifically, this is very Gen Z, whereas the original one, cunty divas. But in G3, it's very much like they're more dressed like teenagers, they act a lot more like teenagers, and the people that don't like G2, we keep forgetting that it's a new generation and this is a children's show. It has more mature topics in, I guess, but also we keep forgetting that this is for children. So, fuck, what we're on about?
Well, you're on about the, like, Frankie making money.
So, with
food.
Them being, like, 15, 16 days old, it's cool because now you get to fully delve into the idea of this person is completely new to the world. Yeah, they have a few other people's memories to help them with issues, but at the end of the day, they're learning.
They be learning.
Like, day one learning. They know English and their name. About it. But yeah, I think it's really nice when it comes to G3 because a lot of it has a lot of different diversity. Because in G1, the stylized thing of it was all very slim bodies because it was also inspired by Tim Burton, which are all very spindly characters. Whereas
which is an issue in itself.
Yeah, but that's just...
Tim Burton in general.
But also, it was 2007 to 2009 that this was being made.
No,
so, like,
I know.
I'm also not too shocked. Shocking. So, when it comes to G3 onwards, I feel like they've finally started reaching a lot more into the diversity of things, where it comes to different cultures being explored a lot more, different body types. I feel like they brought the message back round again, because when G2 came around, Garrett left, maybe a little pushed out as well, but also predominantly left because he didn't appreciate where the message of G2 was going, because they were stripping away all the style, stripping away the character, retconned the entire thing, and it didn't have all this like diversity in culture.
I think they were also cutting quite a lot of corners in terms of the creation of them as well.
I hope we put a picture of that emoji dress doll in, because oh my god, are they the worst. But that's what Rainbow High is going through right now.
Yeah.
Because they've got a lot of different like textured hairs and different skin colours. My favourite doll out of the Rainbow High line, Monique from Shadow High.
Oh, what, the purple
Braids.
Stunning hair.
Oh my god. Also, I have a problem with doll companies. Either give them braids or don't. If you're going to do straight hair and then braids on top to mask the idea of braids, I'm looking at you, Disney Descendants, for Uma. Don't do that. Just give her braids. But yeah, you've got Dracula, who's now Taiwanese, and then when it comes to the witchcraft, it's about how cultures and generations change, and how we need to start being a bit more accepting and appreciating, and kind of start looking past these horrible stereotypes that people have, and accepting things are new and things are different. And I really appreciate that. But I think that's like one of the best big things with Monster High is, even though you've got all like the white, straight, homophobic people being like, we don't need cultured, ethnic, people with disability dolls. It's like stuff like this, which is kind of great about Monster High, is the accidental having umbrella dolls to let people see themselves in culture.
Yeah.
But with a lot of higher ups being white as well, like the Dio de Muertos doll in Rainbow High, because they did a Day of the Dead doll, they got a lot of the paint wrong, they got the colours wrong, the dress shape wrong, and people were like, if you're gonna do a special doll for our culture, do it right. Do it right. Don't just fucking half-ball
Do it respectfully.
Which seems to be a theme of what people just don't seem to be doing.
Yeah, I know.
But to be honest, like, with like Monster High movies and stuff like that, the original G1 ones, quite a few of them had to do with racism, because there was one called like New Ghoul in School, where a guy came in pretending to be a teacher, but it turns out he wanted to segregate monsters and pit them against each other so that the monster world had come down. And that was between like vampires and werewolves, which while Dracula and Claude were dating, that was a whole thing. Then you've got Ghouls Rule.
Is that what happened in the show?
What do you mean?
Because there was that teacher who wasn't a teacher in the live action.
Oh, live action, yeah, that happened too.
That teacher was hot though.
He was fucking fit.
He was really hot.
Yeah, because he was Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah.
He was his son. And yeah, so that was pretty fun. But when it comes to a lot of stuff with Monster High, obviously it's incredibly diverse. Talks about diversity.
It's a wonderful platform.
Yeah, it's like a really good platform to build upon. To have like a small character and then like really outgrow their culture. I feel like they could do something great with it.
Yeah.
But they also need to get their shit on the fashion, because some of the fashions in them are pissing me off.
Because you've done it good before.
Yeah.
It has been good. So
bring it back.
You can do it.
Yeah. Put some more money in.
Put some more money in.
But kind of with that, I feel like the time's run quite long. But okay, just go out of focus, it's fine. We're going to do another sparkle, and then we've kind of got like a small announcement, if you will.
Okay.
So if you've stuck around this long, we really appreciate this. We'll probably turn it into a reel as well, but it's obviously something that we've kind of got to say. So, cut to sparkle.
Cut to sparkle.
Okay, so first of all, we're both going to move our heads. Thank you very much, Brett. Back in. So these are all of my collected dolls as well, because in the last bit, I just wanted to get
These are
all
the
of my
expensive
collection out.
ones.
Yeah, these are my expensive girlies. I have not gotten other than the Lady Gaga behind Brett's head. She was second-hand. The rest of them, all me, baby. All me. RuPaul in the back. And we'll put a better photo up because I do mention it in something I'm about to say in a minute. But I got some commissioned artwork for Alana's birthday. Hello, Alana, yet again. And it is because you've seen that photo of the two lesbians doing each other's makeup. And I commissioned him for her
double
18th.
platinum on Tumblr.
Yeah. To do a Dracula or Claudine version because everyone in G1 really wanted them to be in a relationship, and I'm still sad that they're not. So there you go. There's a little fan art that I did for her birthday. But yes, the first thing that we both wanted to say, maybe predominantly me, because he's tired, I'm hot and sweaty, and I smell bad. I put Beyonce Heat perfume on as well, so I'm like, damn. The makeup that I had on, melted. I'm just that oily and sweaty. Okay. You wanted that like gritty effy look though, so you got it. But we've been doing this for quite a bit now, for quite a few weeks. Even though we took a 1 week break, he was fucking sick. It's not a break. I wish he'd get that in his head. But we've been doing this for quite a while now, so we thought that episode 10 would be the episode that we kind of put a pin in things for a little bit, because we've both got quite a bit going on in our personal lives. There are like quite a few changes coming, and we just want to come to terms with them and properly figure out a schedule, because this has taken up a lot of time and effort, and I really hope it shows, because the amount of work he puts in is fucking insane.
I really do try.
And it really does show.
I know. And what I will say is I think we have, over these 10 episodes, really refined what it actually is. I think we've come to realize what it is, which I think is really, really nice. And we've basically got to learn what it is, really, which just in general has just been a really, really nice process. It's been a learning process, but it's still been a really, really nice one to do with you.
And you. I said it to my therapist, and she was like, hey, that's a really good bonding activity. And I was like, I know, right?
It is.
But we're going to kind of come together with a schedule, have some pre-recorded stuff. So I don't know how long we're going to be gone for. It's not going to be long. We're still going to be posting online. It's not going to be long. We're still going to be doing stuff. But I think to be fair, I've got
a lot of real ideas that we don't necessarily need new episodes for, and we've got other ideas for stuff that we want to do with the accounts and stuff. And to be fair, some of them might even end up being like little smaller videos, or whatever. But in terms of like the bigger long form stuff, we might release like a couple of like shorter little bitey episodes. Yeah, who knows? But yeah, we've got quite a lot going on right now.
So to kind of get our shit in order, because we fell behind and kind of struggled to keep up with it because we've got so much going on, in this time that we're going to take, we're just going to straighten it out.
Yes.
But that also leads us on to the next thing, because the 10th episode will be our last episode of the season. And the 9th episode is Monster High, which leads us to our very special guest, which I mentioned at the end of episode 8. We're going to be talking with Garrett Sander.
We are.
Which is such a monumental thing that I am so proud of and so happy for. It was a leap of faith and it fucking worked out. So we're going to be editing that, getting some shit sorted, and then you guys get to have this however long episode it is and the very long next episode. So, I mean, the entire interview is about 2 hours, but it'll obviously be edited. We might cut it into 2, but you will have enough content to live with before we get back. But I'm just really, really excited to show it to you guys, and I'm really proud of what we achieved.
We are really proud. And major thank you for, because like people are still watching it, and even I think it was like just last night we found a comment on one of them.
Hi from Mexico.
Hi from Mexico.
She's like, I wish I found someone as cute as you two. And I was like, oh my god. No. So hello to you as well.
So hello to you, person from Mexico, if you're still watching. But yeah, so thank you. And thank you for bearing with us while we figure out what all of this is and what we want it to be. And while we're still figuring out what it is and what we want it to be. And I think that's kind of perpetually what it will be.
Yeah.
But I think as long as we're all right with it and as long as you're all right with it,
that's all that matters.
That's all that matters. As long as everyone's having a good time. And we just need to make sure that we are also having a good time while lots of other stuff is going on as well. Because sadly, this isn't how we make our living. We have jobs outside of this, and stuff be going on with our jobs.
Yeah.
So, and I'm 26, so I've got to start taking this career thing seriously.
And I'm 21, so I'm still cunty.
I know.
But I think...
I need to start taking this career thing seriously so this twink doesn't have to work.
Otter.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
Otter.
Don't have all this, like, fucking
okay.
shit for nothing.
Okay.
But with that, thank you so much for sitting with us on season 1 of Wet Bench.
I was about to say, not only this Wet Bench, but the 9 that happened before it and the one that's going to happen next week. Because obviously next week's all pre-recorded. So yeah, thank you very much for sitting on all of our Wet Benches.
We'll probably say this again at another point, but for the friends and family that have watched, we really appreciate the support. And for the people that we don't know, a lot of love and support as well. It really does mean a lot that you've actually been interested to keep up to date with what we're doing.
We're not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere.
I am, to bet.
But yeah, it's just in terms of the longer episodes, I think.
And with that, a very final thank you, and we will see you when we do.
It won't be too long.
It won't be too long. But,
we'll get bored soon.
Yeah. But with that, have a good rest of your day. Thank you for watching. And tune in next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Na, 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 or whatever version you make. God, I'm so sweaty. So disgustingly sweaty right now. If you could smell me.